Welcome to another episode of our personal empowerment audio program, Finding Yourself in Paradise. Hi, I'm Michael Benner.
And I'm Steve Snyder, and our show today is based on the great Gandhi quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." This show's simply entitled, Be the Change.
Be the change, and we're not really talking about change as in different or lateral or drop everything you know about yourself and start over. We're talking about growth. When you hear the word change in this program, I want you to think of moving forward, growing, expanding, being more than you are. It's nothing wrong with who you are, but certainly the days of going to school until you're in your late teens or early 20s and then going out into the world to work, and that's the end of school. Gosh, those days are done and gone. If every 6 months computer technology becomes obsolete, you can see the pace at which we're living. And so we have to continue to change. We must continue to promote our own growth.
So what we're saying is that we've been looking at this concept of how do you change? How do you create permanent change? Anybody can change for a moment or a day or a week, but how do you create permanent change is to, in essence, reprogram a habit, to take a current habit and reprogram it into a new habit. And how long does it take to do that? Well, algebraically speaking, what it takes is X number of repetitions at Y emotional amplitude. That is, it takes a certain number of repetitions with a certain amount of passion. The more passion, the fewer repetitions, and the less passion, the more repetitions. Well, what we've discovered is you can't just create a whole new habit about something really difficult very quickly. If it's a major life change habit, it takes a long time to change. But there are some things, some habits you can inculcate, you can create as autopilot settings pretty quickly. And what we've discovered is the most important habit, we believe, to manage your stress, to create peak performance, to have access to that powerful part of your subconscious mind, the most powerful habit to have is learning to go regularly into this alpha brainwave state, into this place we call paradise. And what it takes, we find, to create that as a permanent lifelong habit is about 30 days.
This is the central concept to all of the personal development work that Steve and I and literally thousands of other women and men in this field have emphasized. Now, you can find personal development programs where they don't talk about the importance of deep relaxation or stress management or so-called altered states, but the best programs you'll find processes where at some point you close your eyes and relax and use visualization or guided imagery, often affirmation. And this could be in the area of learning. This could be in the area of performing, like sports psychology. Certainly, what connects all of the growth industries or change industries is the power of managing stress and anxiety for the emotional control and the mental aptitude that becomes available when you take a breath and relax and enter these alpha brainwave states. Steve and I have lots of ways of talking about it. In this series, we've called it paradise. And we don't mean just Maui. That's one beautiful paradise. But when we did our Maui Mindfulness retreat last February, one of the first things we taught everyone was paradise lives within me now. The kingdom is within, right? Right? The paradise is inside you. So if you think of the way stress and anxiety degrades your performance in a classroom or at work or in trying to communicate with somebody that you have a significant relationship with, anytime you're under the gun and under pressure, you tend to fall apart. Things don't go nearly as well as they should. Your performance, your ability to learn, to understand, all of that is obviously degraded by anxiety and pressure and stress. So doesn't it make sense that learning to relax is going to accelerate your ability to learn, to understand, to enhance your performance? That's what we're talking about. And so we encourage you to understand these programs in that context. We can talk to you while you're in normal awareness, wide awake. But when you use the narrow awake, the paradise, the alpha brainwave levels between awake and asleep, you're going to accelerate that whole process. And that's the key. We've been talking about it for 35 years. And if you're not doing it, well, knowing about it is not nearly enough. You've got to make it a practice. And Steve and I think a daily practice is the smartest way to approach it.
Yeah, if you've been listening to this series regularly, then once a week has not been enough to cause you to use alpha in your life every single day. Then what you need to do is find a way to do this daily, and that's what we're putting together. We've been thinking about this a lot, and the idea of creating alpha as a permanent, lifelong habit, an autopilot setting, something you just do every day without even thinking about it. It just doesn't even occur to you to not do it. It's like breakfast. It's just a thing you always do. A month will do that. About 30 hours of that. We found about 30 hours did it at the Mindfulness retreat, and we did that over 5 days. But we're talking an hour a day for 30 days, and you will change your life. An hour a day for 30 days, and for the rest of all of your days, you'll always go to alpha every day. And that's basically what you're investing in. You're investing in creating alpha as the one tool. Now, there's so many applications to this one tool. We've got 170 different programs in the archives, each one a different application of this one tool. But the idea is, if listening once a week is not making this one tool a everyday tool in your life, then listening every day for 30 days will. That's what you need to do. We're putting together programs on growth, success, fulfillment, all kinds of different areas of self-improvement and self-development. But basically, it doesn't really matter what the subject matter is. That'll be a menu you can choose from. What it matters is that every single day you're investing some time in making a habit of going to this state of focused passion, this state of total focused concentration, amplified passion and interest, the alpha brainwave state, the place we call paradise, the place where you can change by creating the change beginning inside of you.
Yeah, think of your favorite athlete, whatever the sport may be, football, baseball, hockey, golf, tennis. Choose a sport. Think of the most exceptional athlete that you know in that particular sport, and then consider what you would think and how you would feel if you heard that person say, I'm good enough, I'm only going to practice once a week. Right? I don't think that they're going to be on top of their game for very long. And if the very, very best in a given field are out there practicing every day, whatever their sport is, then certainly the rest of us are going to benefit from the same kind of daily practice. Now, turn to some other area. You say, well, I don't care about sports. Look at a performer, a singer, a dancer, a painter, a sculptor, anybody that's expressing themselves artistically. Imagine if you heard them say, once a week, I think I'm going to practice my particular art. If I'm a singer, I'm going to sing once a week, a dancer. You get my point. They've got to be doing it every day because they love it. And they're motivated, and they know it's going to make a difference. That's the way we have to approach the idea of using the alpha brainwave level, to familiarize yourself with that state of focused passion, of laser-beamed attention, with powerful enthusiasm behind it, free from any kind of distraction or pressure or stress, which, as we've already stated, degrades and debilitates your performance, your ability to understand, to think clearly. All of that is muddled by anxiety and stress. So what if you set aside an hour once a day to practice the exercises that we can provide for you, that in many cases we already have?
So what we're saying is an investment of 30 hours, an hour a day approximately for 30 days, will create a permanent habit in your life. And that habit will save you hundreds, probably, in fact, thousands of hours over the course of the rest of your life in one very simple way. Where does most time get wasted? And the answer is spacing out. By whatever you're working on and your mind goes away, it's not that your mind goes away. Everybody's mind goes away. Your mind's always going to go away. It's how quickly can you bring your mind back from going away. The secret to success of using mental facilities is not how often you space out, not how long or short your attention span is, but the secret is how quickly can you reignite your attention back at the thing you're focused on. So we're going to teach you how to, of course you'll space out, but how to space out for much shorter to bring your mind back to total focused concentration on that one thing that you're working on. That'll save you thousands and thousands of hours, an investment of 30 hours, once a day, an hour a day, listening to audio experiences that take you into this beautiful paradise place. It's a real joy to just kick back and let us guide you into this beautiful state, and then a few thoughts about what to do with that information once a day. 30 days, you'll create a lifelong habit of using alpha to focus your concentration, to amplify your interest, to create peak performance, creativity, and just to change your life in wonderful ways.
You know, in addition to all the benefits we're talking about of learning to pay attention, to develop your ability to concentrate, we call it, again, focused passion, lots of names for this laser-beamed concentration. The secret is that you bring it about through relaxation, not through effort or trying. This is one of the things we proved 40 years ago in sports psychology, that if you don't care at all in sports, you're going to do poorly, but if you try too hard, you're going to do poorly. So you got to find the balance point, right? And then it becomes enjoyable. So I'm thinking now, listening to Steve, about all the enjoyable times that I've had in my life doing things that allow me to focus my attention. Reading, for example. I'm much less likely to be distracted while I'm reading than if I'm watching television or engaged in picking up stuff around the house or doing the dishes. My mind just walks all over the place when I'm doing that. But when I read, especially something I care about, something I'm interested in, it's very likely that I'm going to move into, whether conscious of it or not, move into these alpha brainwave states and have this focused concentration. Boy, and you're just turning the pages. Or some people like to do crossword puzzles or jigsaw puzzles. And why? You say, what do you enjoy about doing a jigsaw puzzle? I don't get it. Well, it just relaxes me, people say. Yeah, it relaxes you. Because, again, that's the secret to concentration. I think a lot of people understand the benefits of learning to pay attention, to release distraction, but not a whole lot of people understand that it's a relaxation skill to concentrate. You know, you say to people, now try to concentrate. Or, you know, you say to a student in grade school, or most teachers never really teach you to concentrate. They just say, do it. And so, okay, I better do this or else. And we take extra anxiety and worry and apprehension with us into this place. And, of course, it's exactly the wrong thing to do. But when you learn to breathe and relax, let go, feel a release in your body, muscles unwinding and relaxing. Now your attention becomes like a laser beam, and the chances of being distracted are minimized. So you're going to learn faster, you're going to understand more, and your performance is going to be enhanced in all areas. If it works in sports and in artistic performance, it's going to work for you at work, at school, and in your relationships as well.
So creating the habit of going to paradise, going to the alpha state, has a lot of obvious benefits, but perhaps the most important of them all, the one that underlies all the success that you'll achieve, is the way that it manages your stress. There are just two habits you're going to learn as part of this process within 30 days as lifelong permanent habits that will change your life in such a wonderful way, because one of them is how you deal with the acute form of stress in your life, and the other is how you deal with the chronic form. So what will happen by listening to these programs, by watching the video that it's included in this program, brand new video, never before seen. It's pretty incredible. You're going to get an opportunity to learn how to create these two habits. The first habit is dealing with all the negative thoughts and feelings, the worry thoughts and the anxiety feelings, by having a new autopilot setting that allows you to, instead of tightening your muscles and hold your breath, that allows you to release your muscle tension and let go of your breath. And you're also going to have a new autopilot setting that allows you on a regular basis to remember to take a deep breath and close your eyes and go to paradise and be the pressure release valve for all the chronic stress that you've built up in the 30 or 40 minutes since the last time you went on this wonderful alpha journey. It takes 10 or 20 seconds. You'll learn to do it regularly in the course of your day. You'll learn to respond to your negative thoughts and feelings with a deep breath, and it'll just change your life, because now every thought causes you to feel good, and all the stress that you have is easily manageable because it never builds up too strong, because you consistently allow it to release. Just those two habits alone will change your life, because with less stress, you're much smarter, you're much faster, you're much happier, and you do things much better.
So it's quite likely that if you're listening to this program, you've been a subscriber for a while, and if you check wherever you keep your programs, in your iPod folder of iTunes or your other podcatcher, or maybe you listen to them streaming on the website, focusedpassion.com, when you log in, or maybe you listen to these programs with the browser that you use to go there. There's an RSS button that allows you to do that. Doesn't really matter. What we're suggesting is that until we add to our website these videos and these album packages that we're going to be adding, the best thing that you can do for yourself to prove what we're talking about is listen more often. Pull on these programs. You know, maybe you did hear it once 6 months ago or a year ago, but there's a reason you saved it. Go back and listen again. I think you'll be surprised at how much more you'll get when you listen a second time or a third time. But you've got all of these programs to choose from, an archive of 170 or more programs at this point. And what if you just sat down with the programs you already own and decided once a day I'm going to listen to one of these programs? All right, I'm going to put it on my iPod or other portable MP3 player, or I'll do it first thing in the morning. I think I'll get up a little early every morning and do this. Or I'll make it a special reward for myself at the end of a day to sit down and put on the headphones and sit back with my feet up and listen to one of these programs and let it really soak in. I think without hesitation, Steve and I can guarantee that listening to 30 of these programs in a month, every day, is really going to make a change that you're going to see, I would think, right away. But as you move into the second week and then the third week and then rounding third, heading for home, the last week of the month, I think you're going to be amazed at the changes in your ability to, number one, focus your attention, to concentrate in many other areas of your life. Also to manage stress. You're going to be much more able to take a breath and relax when the stresses build, and substitute for those knee-jerk reactions, what we like to call the even-tempered, well-reasoned responses. Think of all the resentment and the regrets that you will never incur, because now you've learned to pause and think and feel before you react. You're going to respond instead of react knee-jerk. And how much more understanding is going to be available to you? You know, I really think that we have to get real about the fact that nobody's coming to help us here. What I mean by that is a lot of us invest, when we become unhappy or dissatisfied with life, in government making the changes necessary. That's what we pay all the tax dollars for. The government's going to do something. Well, it's looking like the government's not going to do anything. Can't afford it. Don't have the money. That's one thing that all politicians seem to agree on. What we do about that is open, but I don't think the cavalry is coming to rescue us. Most of us are too old and too busy and have too many responsibilities to go back to school. And yet learning has to be a lifestyle. As I said a few minutes ago, if every 6 months or so, computers go through a whole new iteration and previous technology becomes absolutely obsolete, well, that's just a symptom of what's happening in the society, not only in technology and science, but in all areas of our life, sociology and education and the way we relate to other people. Things are moving at a breakneck speed, and a lot of us have the feeling of being left in the dust. So if your idea of working really hard and then just kicking back in front of the TV is living, you're going to fall behind. So for yourself, for your spouse and your family, for the kids and for their kids, let's get involved in something that we love, that we care about, and do it as effectively as possible by setting aside 45 minutes or an hour once a day. Might seem like a lot of time, but good habits are easy enough to develop with repetition. And when you bring online this altered state, I mean, we're asking you to find an hour to sit down and do nothing, right? I mean, what's the resistance to closing your eyes, relaxing, putting a grin on your face, imagining yourself safe in this beautiful paradise, visualizing the goals and solutions and results that you would like to see in your life, whether, again, it's learning, understanding, or performing. All three of those areas are going to develop at an accelerated rate as soon as you develop the habit of spending every day just 45 minutes to an hour on self-development. And we've made it easy with these programs, and you're already listening.
So 30 hours, 30 days. That's what we think it takes. You know, we've looked into this for a lot of years now. We could do it like, you know, if you're willing to put in 6 hours a day, you could do it in a week, you know. But if you do it once a week for a long period of time, it just doesn't seem strong enough reinforcement to create a habit. So we find about 30 hours, 30 days. Now, the thing is, it takes some time. It's an investment of your time, but you know, by investing the 45 minutes or an hour every day in these audio programs, you may just find that you require less sleep, because this deep relaxation is a substitute for much better than fitful sleep, and a substitute for sleep in some cases. You might find you still need the same amount of sleep, but you might find the amount of sleep you require goes down. But you will find it much easier to fall asleep having gone through an experience of letting go of all the tension, anxiety, and confusion that's built up in your life during the day. So it'll save you some time there. But it takes some time. You know, once in a while is not enough. And if we said it takes every day for 90 days, people go, oh, I'll never do it for that long. 30 days. Think about it. Can you do a month? Can you do a month with 30 days to change your life? 30 days to create a permanent habit. And, you know, you can spend those 30 days invested in changing your life in the area of your personal growth or your relationships or communication or in almost any, in your career, in your prosperity. I mean, we've got 170 shows. We can put together programs so that you can basically get the technique in a whole lot of different areas of your life. It's not even so much important what area of your life you practice the technique. It's just practicing the technique every single day for a month creates a permanent lifelong habit, having alpha, having paradise live within you now and forevermore.
You know, lots of folks approach this backwards. It's not uncommon at all for people to feel compelled to organize their lives before they feel as if they'll be able to get anything done, to make sure that everything is in its place, all your ducks are in a row, and your desk is set up just right. I don't mean to the point of being obsessive-compulsive about it, but all of us feel some compulsion in that area, as if getting life organized is going to help you on the inside feel organized. Friends, that's backwards. The external world, in so many ways, is a reflection of what's inside. And if you feel the need to get organized and make sure everything's in its place, that's interior work that we need to do. And as you do that work, as you develop yourself. Again, what do they call it in the bookstores? Self-help, self-improvement, personal growth, personal development. Lots of different names for it. The human potential movement. What is it all about? It's about doing the interior work. As Steve said, quoting Gandhi at the top of the program, be the change that you want to see in the world. Variation on that is think globally, but act locally. That means inside of you. Organize yourself, know thyself, to thine own self be true. Get it together on the inside, and guess what? Your life starts to fall together on the outside. Suddenly, inexplicably at first, all these problems that you used to have just stop cropping up. All these little pesky problems that you don't really know where they come from. Missed opportunities, that's another big area. Oversights, and, I didn't realize this was happening until it was too late. Yeah, because you were distracted. You had 8 or 10 thoughts competing for your attention as a result of the stress and the anxiety that we carry as muscular tension. So, isn't it understandable we try to change the world so that we could benefit? You're just doing it backwards. You got the horse pushing the cart, and we got to get the horse in front of the cart here. We got to work on ourselves to change your life and then to have an impact on the lives of people that you love and care about. That's your contribution to the world. That's be the change you want to see. And how do you do that interior work? You do it in these altered states of deep relaxation with eyes closed, sitting comfortably for a few minutes, some slow, deep breathing. Feel the letting go in your body. We can hook you up to a simple $5 Wheatstone bridge and show you the changes in body chemistry that begin immediately as you relax. The way your extremities get warmer. The galvanic skin response changes, and the electrical conductivity of your hands changes as you become more relaxed. Brain waves lower. There's all kinds of physical evidence that may not be apparent to you. But what you will see is an immediate improvement, especially as you do it every day for 30 days. You'll see the improvement in the rate of learning, your ability to understand what you're learning, and to apply that out into the world, the performance. Promise, guarantee it. We've been doing this for 40 years, and we're not faking it. We're not pretending. We wouldn't dedicate our lives to personal development through deep relaxation if there was an enormous value in it. And the reward for me is hearing back from women and men and children. Steve gets the same thing. Feedback wherever we go, email, cards, and letters from people saying, I listened to one of your programs on the internet, or I heard one of your radio programs years ago, and that one little thing you said changed my life. Well, it changed their life because they not only listened, but they followed up, and they began a practice. Again, do this every day. Can you commit yourself to that? It's your life we're talking about. 30 hours, that's less than most people work in a week. We're asking you to take 45 minutes to an hour. That's what it takes to listen to one of these Finding Yourself in Paradise programs for 30 days to change your life.
So coming soon are these new 30-day programs. There'll be a whole bunch of different areas like personal growth and relationships and career success and that sort of thing. But most important, they're all going to be accompanied by this brand new video, which introduces the whole concept of how to get into this alpha state, this paradise place, with a lot of accelerated learning and peak performance tools thrown in as well. So that's the introduction, and then we've got the 30-day programs. Now, in these 30-day programs, what you're going to learn to do is create as a lifestyle going into this alpha state on a regular basis. That's the whole idea. Doing it every single day for 30 days. It takes that kind of repetition. It takes that kind of intensity. It's not any 30 30 days. It's got to be 30 days consecutively, 30 days in a row. Now, this is a big commitment to make, but it's only once. Do it once, and it's not like you have to do it the next 30 days. You spend 30 days building better abs. Well, how about 30 days to build your mind? 30 days to build your concentration. 30 days to build your ability to relax and release stress. 30 days to change your life in wonderful and marvelous ways. It doesn't matter which 30 days. It does matter, however, that they are consecutive 30 days. Every single day, reinforcing that habit day after day takes about an hour a day. You can do it first thing in the morning when you wake up. You don't even have to really wake up. You can just sort of halfway wake up and put this on and listen to these alpha exercises for 30 or 40 minutes. Or you can listen just before you go to bed. In fact, it'll help put you into a real relaxed, focused concentration, but narrow awake state just before you want to drop off into sleep. It's a wonderful investment of 30 days. 30 days will change your life forever because you'll learn how to spend lots of time for the rest of your life in the alpha state, which is in fact the state for the rest of your life.
So let's practice what we preach. Let's teach you how it looks and how it feels and how it sounds, if you will, how it tastes and how it smells to develop a habit like this. It's really no different than putting yourself on an exercise program where every day, consistently every day, is the secret. Or eating right every day. What would be the point of having wonderful, healthful, delicious meals 5 days a week, and then for 2 days you eat junk food and processed TV dinners and stuff? I mean, what would be the point? You have to be consistent. That's how you create change. There's a lot of people promising change this way, that way, in this many days, and through this method. We're talking about a very generic process, often called meditation or contemplation, introspection or reflection. But we describe it as paradise, as narrow awake, and really what brain researchers call this place, because it's a real empirical level of mind, is alpha. They called it alpha because it stood out. It was very different from awake, and it was very different from asleep. And it was right in the middle, this very powerful doorway into whole brain thinking. It's the most integrated state that you could possibly be in.
Two more famous names, I guess, are the zone and the flow.
Yeah, those are nice names. And so let's do it. Why don't you get ready for the zone and the flow and paradise and nice relaxation. That's what it's all about, feeling really safe. So if this is a good time for you, dedicate the next 10 minutes to this. Get nice and comfortable now. And sort of loosen up with some shoulder shrugs and some head rolls. And I want you to think of becoming balanced. All right, so that you sit up straight, but not rigid. You're not a 2x4. You're a human being. So sit up, but feel balanced, with your head balanced on your neck and shoulders back to open up your rib cage. And take a couple of nice, slow, deep breaths, filling your lungs with strength and power. And as you exhale, that's really the nice letting go side, all the way out. And then repeat 2, 3, 4 times. Nice, slow, deep breaths.
Nice, slow, deep breaths. Each one feels so nice. Nice, slow, deep breaths take you to paradise, to a peaceful place, a quiet space, where it's safe and free of fear. Paradise, your paradise, now and here. Paradise, your paradise, right now, right here. So in this state, you can be the change. Say that to yourself. In this state, I can be the change. Say it so it no longer feels unusual or strange. It feels like the truth. It feels clear. In this state, right now, right here, I can be the change that I wish to see. I can start my changing my reality. In this state, it isn't strange. It feels so right that I can be the change.
Initially, the idea of being responsible for your life, of being the master of your own destiny, the captain of your ship, might seem like a burden. We have so much going on, so many other responsibilities that initially it might seem like, oh no, now another responsibility. We'd have you consider, however, that responsibility is, in fact, a freedom. It means no one has to change or even agree to your program in order for you to grow yourself. I'd like to suggest that you conjure up the feeling of not change for the sake of change, not change to be different than you've been, but to be more than what you've been, more than who you are. Everything that's wonderful and good and kind and intelligent and deserving about you, amplified and accelerated. Feel that feeling. Again, this is not an effort to feel your growth potential. It's a matter of allowing yourself right now to feel that growth potential. And even if you are at the top of your game, why plateau now? Why peak at this point? As if there's some benefit in being satisfied with good enough, when you could be not only great, but better and better and better. Not better than others, better than you were yesterday, and tomorrow better than today. Learning from your mistakes, learning from what other people might see as failure, and incorporate into a negative attitude about themselves. Well, I really messed that up. Well, I blew that. And instead you'll say, here's another lesson to learn. And with that attitude, continue your growth. Everything around you is growing. The trees, the plants, the flowers, the animals, everything is growing. And beyond the idea of physical growth is mental, emotional, and spiritual growth, your ethics and your values, your priorities. What do you think is really important in your life? These things can grow. All you have to do is pay attention to them and care about them and accept responsibility, the freedom to choose how you look at and how you respond to a situation. That ability is freedom. That ability to choose your response empowers you to be the captain of your ship and the master of your destiny.
Here in paradise, your mind is free to be the change you wish to see, by first seeing the change you wish to be. First, you must see the change you wish to be. So if you know what you want, imagine it's true. If you don't know what you want, well then look inside you. Ask your intuition to tell you true what it is you desire. And then imagine that you have it already, right now, and light that passionate fire. Know what you want? Imagine it's true. Don't know what you want? Search inside of you. All done in paradise, in this alpha state, the place where you are free to be the change you wish to see by first seeing the change you wish to be. And with that concept clear, right now, right here, take a deep breath, and as it feels comfortable for you, bring yourself back to wide awake.
I'm thinking about a bunch of stories from my childhood, like the little engine that could, about Dumbo thinking it was the feather that allowed him to fly, and the mouse said, he drops the feather, right? And the mouse said, oh, it wasn't the feather. You can fly. You got these big ears. You could do it all along.
And in Illusions, the beginning of the book Illusions, where the little, that was a wonderful one.
That's about the blue feather, right?
Yeah.
If you can dream it, you can do it, Walt Disney said. And look what he made. I mean, look what Disney, starting with a little drawing of a mouse who was sailing a ship, became Mickey Mouse and this whole empire. And then Disneyland, he thought, well, I could put in a merry-go-round and maybe a roller coaster, but no, he went to the nth degree. And where was that? How did he do that? There's a great story about the dedication of Epcot Center in Orlando, where even though Walt had already passed, his wife was there, and one of the officials, I think the Roy Disney or one of the officials of Disneyland said, gosh, it sure would be nice if Walt was here to see this. And when it came to be her turn to talk, Mrs. Disney, the widow, stood up and said, hey, I got news for you. If Walt hadn't seen this, it wouldn't be here. That's the power of visualization, of guided imagery, of the dream, if you will. Dreaming by night is a wonderful thing, but those who dream by day, wow, that's very, very powerful. Again, in 3 areas, learning, understanding, and performance. Those are pretty darn important areas. You just got to make it a practice. Lawyers are licensed to practice law. Doctors are licensed to practice medicine. How about we license ourselves to practice being better and better every day in every way?
And we think 30 days, and you'll be doing it for the rest of your life and for the rest of your life as well.
I like that. Hey, thanks for being with us. Join us next week for another episode of Finding Yourself in Paradise. For Steve Snyder, this is Michael Benner. Be gentle, love life, and take care of each other. Aloha from Maui.